Manchester United fans, brace yourselves, because what is coming on Sunday is not just another Premier League fixture, this is war. This is a battle for points, a battle of pride, a battle of tactics, and most importantly, a battle of desire. Yes, we just witnessed a brilliant performance against Manchester City, a performance full of confidence, control, and character, but make no mistake, that was only the beginning. Arsenal are on a different level right now. They are stronger, more settled, more aggressive, and if we want to beat them, we will have to do more than we did against City. We will have to fight harder, think smarter, and execute better, because this is not a game you win by reputation, this is a game you win by hunger. Arsenal know exactly what they are walking into. They remember the last time Michael Carrick stood on the touchline against them as interim manager and walked away with a win. They have seen what we just did to Manchester City, and they have not forgotten what happened at Old Trafford earlier this season. Even though they took the 3 points, they know they were pushed, they know they suffered. Because of that, they will come into this game motivated, and fully prepared to hit us hard from the first whistle. They will try to overpower us physically, overwhelm us tactically, and dominate us mentally, and we must be ready to stop that in every way possible. This is not about vibes, this is not about emotions, this is about making the right decisions before the ball is even kicked. We must set up in a way that limits Arsenal's strengths, frustrates their key players, and then punishes them badly. And that is what this video is about. We are going to break down the best possible lineup and the most important tactical ideas that can help us outclass Arsenal at the Emirates. So please stay with me as we go deep into this deep analysis together. Before we start, please kindly drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Now let's get straight into it. So we stick with the same 4-2-3-1 formation, because there is no need to fix what is clearly working. This is about continuity, confidence, and building on the momentum we already have. In goal, we go with Lamans. At the back, the defensive line, we go with Luke Shaw at left back, brings leadership and attacking support, while Martinez and Maguire continue as the central partnership, combining aggression, aerial dominance, and physical presence. At right back, Mazraoui comes in for Dalot, and this is a very important change. It gives us better defensive discipline, more composure on the ball, and smarter positioning against Arsenal's dangerous wide players. In midfield, the double pivot of Mainoo and Casemiro is all about control, protection, and intelligence. Casemiro provides the experience, positional awareness, and ability to break up play, while Mainoo offers fluidity, ball progression, and composure under pressure. Just ahead of them, Bruno Fernandes operates in his natural number 10 role, where he can dictate tempo, press aggressively, and create chances between the lines. Out wide, the choices are tactical and deliberate. On the left, Dorgu offers discipline, work rate, and the ability to support both defense and attack without exposing the back line. On the right, Ahmad provides speed, movement, and the ability to drift inside, making Arsenal's defensive shape uncomfortable. And then up top, instead of a traditional striker, we go with Mbeumo as a false 9, a bold but intelligent decision that gives us energy, pace, and clinical ability. Now let's get into the main segment of this video, because this is where everything really matters, how we beat Arsenal at the Emirates. And before we even talk about shapes, movements, or tactical diagrams, there is a truth that has to be said loud and clear. None of what I am about to explain will work if these players do not turn up. I am a very realistic person, and if you have been watching my videos for a long time, you already know this is something I repeat before every game. And the performance against Manchester City didn't just support this point, it completely vindicated it. Tactics mean nothing without effort, game plans mean nothing without concentration. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if the players don't fight, don't stay switched on, don't show grit, hunger, and charisma, everything collapses. This is not about jogging into challenges or doing the bare minimum. This is about covering for each other, winning second balls, tracking runners, and reacting faster than your opponent. And it's also not about turning up for 45 minutes and then mentally checking out in the second half. At the Emirates, that gets you punished. This game has to be played from the first whistle to the final whistle with the same intensity, the same focus, the same desire. That is the only way we win this match, and that is the only way any tactics will work. Every single tactical idea I am about to talk about, just like the ones Carrick used against Manchester City, depends on effort, discipline, and total commitment. These plans require players who are ready to step into a battle, players who are willing to suffer, to run, to fight, and yes, to bleed for the badge if that is what it takes. Without that mentality, there is no system, no formation, no masterclass that can save us. This is where the real battle begins. Now these tactics are going to be clearly divided into two parts, and this structure is very important for you to understand the thinking behind the game plan. The first part is all about how we stop Arsenal's threats and prevent them from playing their natural game. This is absolutely crucial. The second part is then how we punish them once we've done that job properly. Both parts are connected, but the first one lays the foundation for everything else. Now you might be asking yourself, why are we focusing so much on stopping Arsenal instead of just playing our own game? And this is where playing away at the Emirates changes everything. We are going to the home of a very strong Arsenal side, a team that thrives when they control the rhythm of the game. In games like this, every time you stop Arsenal from playing their football, every time you shut down one of their threats, you automatically create an opening to punish them. That is how football works at this level. You frustrate them, you force mistakes, and then you strike. And I'm going to explain exactly how. Let's start with the first and most important objective, stopping Arsenal from playing comfortably out from the back and having that free-flowing possession that pushes us deeper and deeper into our own half. Because once Arsenal start circulating the ball freely, they don't just dominate possession, they hurt you. They pin you back, they win corners, they build momentum, and before you know it, you are under serious pressure. So the best way to stop that is not by sitting deep, but by pressing them in a very intelligent way. This is something we already did against Manchester City, but now we are going to add another layer to it, controlled man marking on key players in Arsenal's build-up. First, let me explain the City example clearly, then I'll connect it to Arsenal. Whenever we were out of possession against Manchester City, especially when they were building from the back, we dropped into a 4-4-2 shape. The main idea of this was very simple but very effective, completely block the middle of the pitch. We wanted City to feel uncomfortable playing through midfield, so we allowed them to go wide, and that's where the trap was set. If you remember the game, even when City's two centre-backs split wide to receive the ball from the goalkeeper, our first two pressers, Bruno and Bumo, did not rush at them. Instead, they stayed compact, positioned centrally, facing the goalkeeper. At the same time, City's defensive midfielder stayed in the middle, trying to offer an option. And this is where the trap appeared. There were two dangers for City in that situation. If the goalkeeper tried to pass into the defensive midfielder, Bruno and Bumo were already positioned to intercept, and we actually saw that happen during the game. So the goalkeeper's safest option became passing the ball wide to one of the centre-backs. But even that wasn't safe, because that was exactly what we wanted. Once the ball went wide, that side became overloaded. You had Dorgu and Mainu working together, tightly marking the next passing options. The wide centre-back had the ball, but the question then became, who does he pass to next? The fullback was blocked by Dorgu, and the nearby midfielder was covered by Mainu. We saw Dorgu step in, win the ball, and immediately trigger a quick counter-attack. That wasn't accidental, that was design. So the core idea here is this: block the midfield, invite the wide pass, then spring the trap. No one presses the wide centre-back initially, but the moment he looks for his next pass, he is surrounded by coordinated pressure. And then the next person he gives the pass loses the ball quickly. Now we apply this same logic to Arsenal by stopping them from playing out from the back by blocking the central area and forcing them to go wide, but with an added focus. Against Arsenal, we also have to neutralise Zubimendi. If you remember the game at Old Trafford, one of the biggest reasons Arsenal struggled was because Zubimendi was taken out of the game. He is a crucial part of how Arsenal build and progress the ball, and stopping him again will be vital. Of course, this plan won't work perfectly every single time. Arsenal will have moments where they successfully play through the press. And this is where the second layer of the plan comes in. If they do break the first press, the wings are already locked down by Dorgu and Shaw. At that point, the priority becomes stopping Zubimendi from receiving the ball in dangerous areas. This responsibility falls mainly on Manu and Bruno, with Casemiro stepping in aggressively when needed. Zubimendi often positions himself higher up the pitch, waiting to receive the ball and dictate play, alongside Declan Rice. But Zubimendi is the key connector, and if you cut that connection, Arsenal's rhythm breaks down. So man-marking in this context is not reckless chasing. It is controlled, intelligent pressure, keeping players in check throughout the game. When done properly, it disrupts Arsenal's build-up, frustrates them mentally, and forces errors. Now the second major threat we have to deal with is Arsenal's wingers and their set pieces, and this is an area where one small mistake can completely change the game. Arsenal are extremely dangerous from wide areas, not just because of their wingers, but because of how their fullbacks constantly arrive in those half spaces to overload you and deliver crosses or cutbacks. So if we don't get this right, we will suffer. There are two clear ways to stop this threat, and the first one I have already mentioned. That is stopping Arsenal as close to their own box as possible. The less time and space they have to progress the ball up the pitch, the less danger they can create in our box. If you prevent them from building momentum early, you reduce the number of situations where their wingers are isolated against our defenders, and you also reduce the number of corners and set-piece situations they can win. That alone already cuts a huge part of their threat. But let's be realistic, Arsenal will still progress with the ball at times. And when they do, this is where our wide defensive structure becomes absolutely crucial. On one side, Dorgu and Shaw must work as a unit. This is not about one player defending alone, it's about coordinated movement. Arsenal's fullbacks are very aggressive, they step into half spaces, they overlap, and they underlap. If Shaw steps out, Dorgu has to cover the space behind him. If Dorgu presses the winger, Shaw has to be ready to block the overlap. Every movement has to be mirrored. On the other side, Ahmad and Mazraoui have the exact same responsibility. They must work together to shut down Arsenal's winger and fullback combination. Arsenal thrive when they pull defenders out of position and then attack the space that opens up. That is why we cannot allow any free runs, we cannot allow them to occupy half spaces comfortably, and we absolutely cannot allow easy crosses, cutbacks, or low passes across the box. Those cutbacks from wide areas are one of Arsenal's biggest weapons. They don't always cross blindly, they wait for defenders to drop, then they pick out runners arriving late. If we allow that, we are inviting trouble. So the instruction has to be clear: stop the ball at source. Force them backwards, force them sideways, but never allow them to face our box freely. If we get this right, pressing early, blocking wide combinations, occupying half spaces, and defending as pairs, then we significantly reduce both their winger threat and the number of dangerous set pieces they can win. And once you take that away from Arsenal, you start to frustrate them. Now the second way we can stop their threat is by keeping some of the ball, and this part is very important to understand properly. I am not saying we should go to the Emirates and try to dominate possession, that would be unrealistic and even dangerous. But football is simple in one way: the more Arsenal have the ball, the more chances they have to hurt you. So we have to be intelligent with possession, not passive, not reckless, but deliberate. From what we have already seen, it is clear that Carrick has been working with these players on keeping the ball better. We saw flashes of it against Manchester City: calm moments, short passes, confidence on the ball, and that was against one of the best pressing teams in the world. Against Arsenal, we may need even more of that, because if we allow them to have wave after wave of possession, pressing us for long spells, it will not end well for us. Yes, our main weapon is still the counter-attack, but you cannot counter-attack if you never touch the ball. We need moments where we slow the game down, move the ball with purpose, and force Arsenal to retreat and reorganize. That alone reduces their threat because now they are the ones defending space instead of attacking it. It also gives our players breathing space, helps us reset our shape, and stops Arsenal from building rhythm. But this possession has to be careful and intentional. Not side-to-side passes just for the sake of statistics, not keeping the ball to look good. It has to be possession with a goal in mind, moving the ball forward, progressing play, and asking questions of their defense. In many ways, it is similar to playing direct football with control. You move the ball forward quickly, and the outcome might be a shot, a corner, or even a goal kick, and that is fine. And this is where set pieces become massive. Every corner kick, every free kick around their box has to be treated like a golden opportunity. We have already shown that we can score from set pieces, and in tight games like this, one corner can change everything. We must be ruthless, switched on, and aggressive whenever we get those moments. We have Maguire, we have Casemiro and others, we have to capitalize on it. What also gives me confidence is what we have seen recently. Teams that dare to play Arsenal, teams that try to keep the ball instead of just sitting back, always get chances. We saw it with Wolves. We saw it with Sunderland. We even saw it with Nottingham Forest. When you hold the ball carefully against Arsenal, you create your own spell in the game, and you force them to defend too. The key thing is balance. We should never allow Arsenal to be the only team with the ball. If we do, we invite pressure, corners, set pieces, and chaos. But if we keep the ball smartly, with purpose and courage, we reduce their threat and give ourselves real opportunities to hurt them.